Hello, fellow Americans. You are on the YouTube channel Common Constitutionalism, and I am Mitch. I talk about issues in our government, the erosion of our culture, the minimizing of our way of life, and the disregard for our Constitution. Keep your conservative voices active. Subscribe to this channel and listen as I talk about issues we are facing in our country and government. Visit my website, commonconstitutionalism.com. Enjoy reading my conservative blogs, and if you like them, maybe throw in a donation. While on commonconstitutionalism.com, go ahead and shop at the Sage Novelty Shop, where you will find shirts which feature our very own unique conservative political memes and captions. Display your conservative beliefs with pride. These items send a clear message without saying a word, or if you prefer, you can use them as a conversation starter. Come join my Facebook group, Common Constitutionalism, for discussions of topics, sharing of ideas, and interacting with others just like yourself who are proud to be Americans. Today, I'm going to talk about professional sports and the liberal agenda. Over the past years, I've talked about the liberal agenda. I have talked about how the Democrats and Marxist fascist liberals want to fundamentally change America. I've talked about how much these Marxist fascists hate America. I have talked about President Trump's accomplishments. I've talked about how President Trump has done more for the minorities, the blacks, browns, and women than any other president, maybe aside from Abraham Lincoln, who abolished slavery. I've talked about many other things, like, the riots, the protests, the liberal agenda, and all the propaganda that the left has aimed at conservatives and President Trump. It all just continues on and on every day. But now, I have another thing on my mind that needs to be said. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. With all that is going on these days with Black Lives Matter and Antifa, all the babble from the rhetoric of the left about white privilege and saying the whites have created a false history of America. The left says that only blacks and people of color are woke. Well, I think it's time to say things that nobody really wants to say. It's time to be honest. Take the rose-colored glasses off and look at it as it really is. So now we have the professional sports organizations believing that they should engage in political issues. Now we have head coaches. We have owners of these sports organizations and sports teams. We have commissioners of professional sports leagues and the professional athletes, all publicly coming out in support of Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and the riots. They actually are saying things that I know are phony. They are saying things which make their teams and organizations stand out and appear to be on the side of the leftists' justice. Let's face it, the majority of professional athletes are black, and that's a simple truth. The owners and leagues are saying anything to protect and keep what they have. We've got head coaches that are saying things because they don't want to piss off their players and end up having players not play or quit, ask to be traded or lay down. So the coaches, owners, commissioners pretend to be on the player's side. And I'm not talking showing understanding and empathy. I'm talking over the top, outright acting expert on the subject. Then we have the players who, I guess because they have a lot of money, they think they have a lot of answers. I listen to 90% of them talk, and they are no more than reverse discrimination people. They're being no better than the people they claim have white privilege. What about black privilege? What about these black athletes who are making millions of dollars a year? They're not privileged? I can tell you story after story of these black athletes who went through college and even high school who are so talented they are protected. I can name black athlete after athlete who went through college this way. Look at the Aaron Hernandez story. It happens all the time. They start getting in trouble and everyone turns the other cheek. Everyone closes their eyes and gives them a pass. These athletes start believing that the laws do not apply to them, leaving them to believe that they are special and that they can do whatever they want. This can start as early as high school, whether it's not showing up to class, getting involved in drugs, being in gangs, or whatever. These kind of things are overlooked. They are allowed to pass high school, skate by classes and grades. They go on to college where it gets worse because they get more involved in drugs, the gangs, and so forth. Even things such as shoplifting and stealing, and in some cases, violence. Simple things like not going to class or not completing assignments. Again, the people in authority close their eyes to it. They turn their heads and they allow it to continue. Then they get drafted into the professional arenas and they start making their millions of dollars. By now, not only do they believe they're above the law, they have the money to do anything they want. The money to really push the boundaries. Earlier, I mentioned Aaron Hernandez. What a tragic life he led. The people around him were just as responsible as he was because they allowed it. So we have these professional athletes who pretend and believe they are politically endowed and so intelligent on these matters. They speak out and show that they do not appreciate the people who are paying hundreds of dollars for the tickets to watch them play. It is these ticket sales that pay for their $1 million salaries. I will guarantee you that 50% and probably more of these fans buying the tickets are white. These athletes are making millions of dollars. Why are they coming from other countries to America? So they can play in American sports leagues? No. It's because it is America who gives them the damn opportunity to make millions of dollars a year. There's no other country that really does that. Not to that level. There is absolutely no appreciation for the country that allows them this opportunity. Nor is there an appreciation for the people, the fans, who pay their $1 million contracts. The people who watch them play pay buy the novelty items, the ball caps, the jerseys, the team signs, and other memorabilia. There is no other country that would give these privileged athletes this opportunity. These privileged athletes show no signs of appreciation of any of this. Instead, these athletes run America down. Here's my prediction. Let's see how well these teams do. Let's see how well these players do that are running down America. Let's see how well they do in the future. I've got a feeling that the majority of the American people are fed up. The people are going to start changing the channel. They will stop going to the stadiums, the arenas, and other places to view the sporting events. The people will stop. The American people have had it. Look at the millions of sports enthusiasts who for years have spent their hard-earned money to watch, support, and pay the wages of these players. Do you think the American people do not take offense towards these black athletes who are calling the very same white citizens that are paying for these contracts white privileged? These rich black athletes telling the white fans they are not woke enough, that the white fans don't know their real history, or they don't know what struggle is all about. You talk about laughable. Here's a black athlete who is making millions of dollars a year telling a white blue-collar worker that is making $50,000 a year how white privileged they are. These black athletes are telling the white blue-collar worker that struggles every day to pay their bills that they don't know what struggle is and that they are privileged. Well, I'm here to tell you that these woke, privileged athletes are cutting off their noses to spite their face. I believe all of this is going to come back and haunt them. I believe it's going to be a changing time in America and how these athletes are perceived. There have been many, many of these athletes who were held up as heroes to millions of kids. The parents and adults who viewed these athletes as such tremendously talented individuals, the fans worshiped them. Tell me honestly, if you are one of these struggling white blue-collar workers and you had one of these privileged black athletes telling you that you don't know what struggle is and telling you how racist you are, do you really think that the white person is going to continue to hold up and worship this black athlete as a hero? I say not. I say America is changing, and you can thank Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and the Marxist fascist Democrats who have pushed their agenda to its limits. You can thank the privileged black athletes who are speaking out to support their self-ordained knowledge of the truth. You can thank those people because they're the ones who have changed things. They have brought to our attention a whole lot that I am here to say I believe is going to leave a lot of these woke individuals wishing that they hadn't spoke out so boldly. Then maybe they overstepped the bounds. Maybe they should have been a little more reserved and a whole hell of a lot more appreciative of the people and the country that allows them the right to protest, the right to speak out, and the right to such a privileged opportunity of prosperity. Maybe they should have been a little more reserved and a lot more appreciative. So exercise your right to be heard and vote on November 3rd. Help keep America, America, and vote conservative. Thank you. Let's see what we can accomplish here. My aim is to create a loyal following so I can continue bringing awareness to these kinds of issues. We will talk about issues in our government, the erosion of our culture, the minimizing of our way of life, and the disregard for our Constitution. I would appreciate you all exploring, donating, subscribing, joining, and shopping on my sites. You will see them displayed at the beginning and the end of the videos. Until next time, this is Common Constitutionalism, and I am Mitch. Thank you, America.